how did you two meet?
Through online. After 1 week, went to Davao to meet my family.
Hey, it's Gray BTC, and after traveling to over 50 countries in the past 10 years, there's one story I've seen unfold up close, and most people either don't know about it or they're too afraid to talk about it. So today, we're going to talk about the truth, the uncomfortable, messy, sometimes infuriating truth about Western men in Southeast Asia. From Thailand to the Philippines, from Vietnam to Indonesia, this region has slowly become a magnet for a certain type of Western man, lonely, bitter, and tired of being rejected back home. And when they land in Asia, they suddenly feel like kings. I've seen it. You've probably seen it. They'll sit in rooftop bars surrounded by women half their age, ordering drinks they couldn't afford in the US or the UK, bragging about how different women are here. They're so feminine, they say. They respect men. But what they don't say is that many of these women are simply trying to survive in an economy shaped by inequality. And the men? They're not looking for love, they're looking for control.
Where are you from?
Australia.
How many days have you been in Thailand right now?
About 3 weeks.
What's your body count for 3 weeks?
21, 22.
For 3 weeks?
Yeah.
They come here with this twisted fantasy that Asia is some kind of reset button, a place where the rules of dating don't apply.
I love you. What is your name? Can you stop for 1 minute?
Because behind every bar girl, every massage parlor, every online romance, there's a power dynamic, and it almost always favors the foreigner, especially when he's older, wealthier, and desperate to feel wanted. And what's worse, many of these men treat it like a game. They compare stories. They rate cities based on how easy the girls are. They post in online forums giving each other tips on which places have the most submissive women. It's disgusting. It's not romance, it's exploitation wearing a vacation shirt. And the locals? They see it. They're not dumb. They know why these men are here. And more, they're speaking out. Not just the women, but the local men too, who are tired of watching their culture be reduced to cheap fantasies and transactional relationships. But still, the behavior continues. And now, with social media and YouTube, it's being normalized. You've got entire channels where Western men brag about their Asian girlfriends, film them like trophies, and pretend it's love. It's not. It's performance. And it's giving an entire generation of young men back home a completely false idea of what relationships look like, especially across cultures. And it's not just the rich retirees or the business expats anymore. Now we're seeing an entirely new wave. Broke Western men who save just enough for a one-way ticket, hoping Southeast Asia will give them what their home countries never did: status, validation, and control. These are the guys sleeping in $10 hostels, borrowing scooters they don't even know how to ride, filming vlogs about how they escaped the West, all while surviving off crypto losses and side hustles that barely pay for street food. And somehow, they still manage to get in relationships. You'll see them on TikTok proposing to girls while riding scooters through rice fields, with one hand on the throttle and the other holding a 5 ring from the night market. It's awkward, it's desperate, but even worse, it's broadcasted like it's a fairy tale. But for who? The girl or the guy trying to prove something to himself? Because let's be honest, in most of these relationships, the imbalance is obvious. The man brings citizenship, Instagram clout, and the promise of a better life. The woman brings youth, beauty, and silence. And in many cases, that's all she's allowed to bring. No voice, no opinion. Just smile for the camera and look grateful. But no one talks about what happens after the vlog ends, when the money runs out, when the honeymoon phase ends, when she realizes that Western boyfriend just means broke guy with a god complex. I've spoken to women in Bali, Pattaya, and Manila who've been ghosted, abandoned, or even blamed for using these men when all they did was trust them. And the cycle repeats. Another foreigner flies in, another promise made, another power play dressed up as love. And what's really wild? Some of these men will proudly say, this would never happen back home. And they're right, because back home, their behavior wouldn't be tolerated. But here, they're exploiting the economic gap, the language barrier, the cultural hospitality, and turning it into dating leverage. That's not love. That's colonialism with a Tinder bio. And the ripple effects? They're everywhere. Real couples in cross-cultural relationships get judged because of the stereotypes these guys reinforce. Local men feel disrespected and overlooked. Women who speak up are told they're ungrateful or just jealous. And tourists who come with good intentions have to work twice as hard to prove they're not like them, because the cost is real. It's not just about awkward relationships or cringy vlogs. It's about how entire communities are affected by this imbalance. When enough Western men treat Southeast Asia like a dating playground, it changes how women are viewed. It creates suspicion, stereotypes, and broken trust. Women who genuinely fall in love with foreigners often face judgment from their own families, their communities, or even strangers online, who assume they're only in it for a visa or money. And when those relationships fail, which many do, the blame almost always lands on the woman. But rarely do we talk about the men, the ones who came here not to build a future, but to escape their past. And that's the part nobody wants to say out loud. A lot of these guys didn't come to Asia because they love the culture. They came because they failed at home. They weren't respected. They weren't wanted. They felt powerless, and instead of working on themselves, they boarded a plane, hoping another country would give them what they never earned. That's not strength, that's running. And what they don't realize is that you can't heal ego wounds through relationships, especially not through transactional ones built on inequality. So, if you're watching this and you're planning to move to Asia, or you're already here, I'm not saying don't date. I'm saying be real with yourself. Are you here to connect? Or to control? Are you building something healthy? Or are you just hiding in someone else's culture because your own won't validate you? I'm Gray BTC, and I've spent over 10 years traveling this world, not just for the views or the lifestyle, but to understand people, cultures, and the impact we leave behind when we cross borders. If this video made you think, do me one favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. It helps with the algorithm, but more importantly, it helps the conversation grow. Let's be better guests, let's be better men, and let's stop pretending love is love when it's really just power in disguise.